Hello friends, Josevich here. Welcome back to some Hearthstone as we continue our Midrange Murloc Paladin climb to legend. Not off to the strongest start with this deck, but it's time to get ourselves a little bit reacquainted. I think we still have enough time in the month to make our legend climb successfully. We've queued into what is not a quest rogue, which is a nice little change of pace, but that does mean then of course we are dealing with the miracle type rogue, which could still provide us plenty of trouble. I think we're going to take the Wicker Flame because we don't have very strong plays coming up, and we already have strong endgame. Sunkeeper Term is obviously great for both the... Oh, what's going on here? Backstab SI. It's a decent enough play. We're still going to be hanging on to our Galaka, I think, as long as possible. This turn, all we're going to be doing is True Silvering that down. Very reasonable. So because we are going up against Miracle, Sunkeeper is going to be kept ideally until our opponent plays some massive Edwin or some massive questing adventures, and then we remove all those massive buffs. We also have Equality in case we need to emergency Equality Consecrate. And then there are the Aldors because things generally don't get stealthed anymore in Rogue, which is kind of nice, I think. Not that I really minded the whole Miracle, but sometimes when you get stealth, it kind of felt a little unfair just because there was no opportunity unless you ran Devolve or even, again, Equality Consecrate. But other than that, there were just sometimes, there was literally nothing you could do to stop these minions, especially an early questing adventure who just gets buffed like crazy. So at this point, I mean, our opponent hasn't really done much. We're going to save the Galaka. I am expecting there to be pirates in here. So we're going to save that to be a 2-mana 3/4 for as long as we can. We still have a nice turn 5 play. And then if we need to, I mean, I wouldn't want to tempo out the Sunkeeper because I think we want to save this to be a defensive play, to be honest with you. But we'll see what our opponent does. They could just continue building their pressure, which is okay. I think now we are going to go wide. So the second Vilefin resets our hero power. So now this is going to be a mini Bloodlust here effectively. This goes 3, 6, 9, 12. 12 plus 4 is going to be 16. Obviously, we're not too worried about setting our opponent down to 9, but it is nice to know that we have that option. This is just something that's going to be a little troublesome for us in the long run. And we kind of have to think how we want to be playing with this. We don't have any silences. We don't have any removals in this deck like we do in some decks. Like, let's say if we were playing Shaman, we could do some Devolve or Hexes, and then Sherazan kind of runs its course. But our opponent has a lot of cards, so they're going to be able to bring this back, I want to say, a few times at the very least. I feel like just punching it in now. Let's do it this way right now. So we've done a bit of damage to our opponent, and we're going to continue to save. Basically, we're going to save our Sunkeeper for when we are going to need it a little bit more. Because right now we really don't want to be... I mean, that would have been a bit of damage to face, but I don't think that would have been enough, and especially since a rogue has a whole bunch of cards in hand, they're definitely going to build their Sherazan back this turn. I want to have enough on board to be able to deal with it if we can. That was a card from our opponent's class, not our deck, which is good to know. Ooh, destroy a minion. That's terrifying. Maybe we Sunkeeper now, but I want to avoid doing that as long as possible. And it looks like we're going to get one more chance to punch in just a little bit of damage. And that was a really good top deck. One of the best. I think that's one of the things I've been working on the most with my Hearthstone playing is those top decking skills. This is, I mean, our opponent, I'm still expecting this to come back. We still have the removal. Our opponent really hasn't played that many things at this point. One Backstab, the Sherazan, and S37. What is this minion called? Basically the 5-mana combo for the Destroy Minion effect, which is nice for Assassinate. Yeah, the Assassinate that comes with a minion, kind of strong. But our opponent has a whole bunch of cards. Sherazan's coming a whole back a whole bunch more times. Our board's gonna disappear a whole bunch more times. I'm tempted just to play Rag next turn, depending what happens here. But I'm a lot more tempted to play Rag because it's obviously both of these cards, the good thing about both of these are they're very weak. That's a little unfortunate, but that's okay. A little unfortunate because it gives a little bit of healing here to our opponent. And our minions slowly get beaten away. But all in all, not bad. That could help us with our burst, that's for sure. We have the option of using it now, to be honest. But I think I'm way more in favor of doing this. And now we're going to punch in a whole bunch. And our opponent's going to have a really big minion that they're going to want to deal with. And we're getting healed back to full, which is much less important, I think, right now than the tempo of having a big minion that has to be dealt with. Now, obviously, if Evil Rag wasn't rotated out, I think Evil Rag probably would have been a stronger play. 8 to face is pretty nice on this turn. And is potentially even more pressure than what we have here. But that's okay. Our opponent could just Fan of Knives and basically ignore the Rag, because likely he's just going to be healing the rest of our minions. Oh, and here comes our miracle turn, finally. Now, if there are some coins and preps and things like that, we could be dealing with an incredibly... Oh! And the sap does come down the line, which is okay because we do have equality. We do finally have our Sunkeeper as well. We also have the options for a Spiked Ridge, a Steed, which honestly might be the way we do this. We could just go +1/+1, then buff it, and then go crazy. Because I kind of want to build a more wide board. When we finally do go ahead and Sunkeeper. And this is still now presents a relatively strong board that our opponent's going to have to deal with. And because they did just play one sap, they're then less likely to have the second sap. Obviously, there's no guarantee that it's there. Or not there, I should say. And because if they're able to do a little bit of miracle work here with Gadget Stand, you know, lots of these very, very cheap cards. There's still a chance that this does get sapped, but we're in a good position right now. And again, we always have Sunkeeper in order to punch through this if we need to, but I'm hoping we don't have to do that this turn. And there's that prep that we were fearing. And our opponent's still at 3 mana, so they could do some crazy Edwin shenanigans. Oh, that we are prepped right now, so yeah, Evis can come down, and Edwin can still come down huge. But like I said, we're going to continue to save our Sunkeeper, hopefully for a massive Edwin just like this. Although now we have even more options, because we can Aldor. But I honestly really like the Sunkeeper, so what I want to do is I want to attack in... How are we going to do this? Oh, shoot. Haha. We can't clear the board. We only have 2 things to attack with. So we have to decide what we want to leave up. Are we going to leave... And I think we want to leave up a 3/3 Sherazan. So I'm thinking we attack in here to Gadget Stand. Gadget Stand has to be removed. Then we'll Sunkeeper, and then I'll attack into the Edwin. Leaving 3/3 Sherazan, 3/3 Vilefin. And then we'll also be able to get a hero power off to have an extra 3/3 minion. And I still feel like I kind of want to save the Galactica. As silly as this might be, in the long run, I still feel like that's a pretty good play. So that's the game plan. That's what we're going to go with here. So everything goes to 3/3, including the massive Edwin. It gets removed. And we let our opponent take a turn. So their Edwin's gone, which is nice. I'm still expecting some sort of other burst now from our opponent, which is okay. And we still have the 8/8 Rag to be playing later on, which is okay. And we do have Aldor in the event that the questing adventurers start getting out of hand. We'll be able to kind of deal with them for a few turns. +3 attack. That's unfortunate, obviously. And now the scary thing is our opponent can just regrow their Sherazan this turn, so we have to deal with it again this coming turn. But because we have the Aldor, I would be tempted to just Aldor and kind of say go. And at the very least, I mean, if it doesn't happen, then we'll be able to Rag Oh, wow. That's actually a very, very good slower card as well. The Mimic Pod has seen a lot of play in the Quest Rogue, which is obviously very good for filling out your quest, or finishing your quest, I should say. There's that Fan of Knives. Prep into other Fan of Knives? Oh no, I was joking. Don't actually do that. And there's other Sherazan. Oh no, I was totally joking. Don't do that at all. Oh my. Well, there's those big Aldors. So that's something. We could Gentle Megasaur. We could do a whole bunch of stuff right now. We could just Equality. We could Equality attack into these two. Throw out Good Rag. We could Equality attack into these two. Aldor. Is this the only Murloc right now? It is. Ooh, that's kind of unfortunate, though. We don't really get any sort of Gentle Megasaur value. We need to Equality, and we're going to Equality first, and then we'll just take out both of the 8/8s. I think that's basically the last major win condition. I mean, maybe Leroy's exist in this deck. But I think this... How good is Divine Shield right now? 0 good. And now the question is, do we want to be doing anything other than... Do we want to Aldor, or do we just want to Rag? I think we will just Rag. As much as I love having a wide board, I think Rag is just really powerful. We've already seen one Sap, and Sap isn't even that great right now, because we get Sapped and we just play it again and heal again. Hey, there we go. Galactica Crawler value. Oh, awful. Oh, here we go. And still, I'm not sure that there's too much pressure. There's not too much power on board from our opponent. We'll be able to clear a whole bunch of it, basically. Yes, this is a bit of damage, don't get me wrong. That was 8 damage on a single turn. We'll save this Equality, that's for sure. We'll heal up next turn. We'll Aldor there. We'll do this. Do we want the 5/4? I think we need the 5/4, actually. As sad as it is that we have no Murlocs right now, I think we just kind of need to keep up with the tempo of our opponent. And then we do have a whole bunch of healing now for next turn that'll let us refill our hand, which will be nice. And then there's a whole bunch of top decks that are actually very, very good for us. And that was also good that that was the second Vilefin. Or Vile Spine. Oops, I don't know, I keep calling him Vilefin. But now we can throw down Tyrion with a little less fear of it just getting destroyed. Obviously, it can still... Oh, no. That is not good for us at all. Last Evis, that's okay. Our opponent's going to be able to obviously trade very favorably here. Yep. And our opponent's still building, you know, a very reasonably sized board here, but we still have a chance. I'm feeling very confident right now. We'll heal back up. To me, there's nothing that we could possibly do that I wouldn't want to heal up with. And here's our own cleaver that we want to be playing. Redemption, Getaway Kodo. What's going to be best? Repentance. Is there anything we need to be repenting here? I don't think our opponent's going to have any really big minions. They could still have a Leroy. This crazy deck, they could still have a Leroy. Redemption. Return to life. I mean, Redemption's basically the best with Tyrion. It's crazy. Getaway Kodo. Returning to hand is potentially going to be very, very good. Let's say if we get an Aldor, we can Aldor something down and save ourselves that way. This 2/2 obviously just gets destroyed by whatever's on board or something like that. Opponent could just go wide because they know we're not going to have too many resources in order to really help us stabilize. But we did just kind of fill our board. Ooh, and our opponent just filled their board as well. Although they can trade off and then still play things. It'd be curious to see if they'd be willing to empty their entire hand right now. The Aldor is going to be pretty nice. Oh, trading off the 1/1s is okay with me. We have no more healing on board. But I'm not sure that we're going to need it. We'll take another Hydrologist. Noble Sack is going to actually be pretty good. We will do this. I definitely want a Noble Sack. The question is, do we want the 5/4 or do we want a Getaway Kodo and a 1/1? And again, I want more power on board now. Stealth, Divine Shield, or +3 health. I think +3 health is more valuable to us right now. So our opponent basically wins if they're able to Leroy and Cold Blood. But I'd be really, really surprised if those cards are able to fit with what this deck really has in mind with these Sharazin, decks. But that being said, this has been a pretty interesting little bit of a game, that's for sure. Oh my, Eater of Secrets. Well, now it's really good we didn't play both. Holy, that tech is obviously in here for the freeze mages. Okay. Very, very interesting tech. Obviously tired of losing to freeze mages. There's no more Evis, is there? No. No, there is not. So I think the 5 health is obviously very good here. Trading off a couple 1/1s, that's valuable for us. Obviously, we don't have a lot of health to play with. We want to be top decking, I think, Tyrion, Curator, or Spiked Ridge Steed are going to be the best cards for us. Or even an Equality, or a Consecrate, I guess. Either of our Consecrates are good. Help us clear our opponent's board out. Oh no. Here he comes one more time. And there's a Consecration. So we do have the ability to clear the board. I think that's probably the best thing to do, right? Like, I can't see any other play that saves us the most amount of damage. Or they're not going to be able to bring back their Sharazin anymore. Sharazin, excuse me. It removes, what is this, 3, 6 damage. 6, 11. Yeah, I mean, this is basically... This gets done every single time. I don't want to Getaway Kodo now. I feel like there is a world where Getaway Kodo is the right play, though, but I'm not going to. So we have a whole bunch of good top decks right now. We have a lot of good top decks available to us. Uh-oh, that's scary. Obviously, we need to kill our friend's Blood Mage here in order to help us stabilize. War Leader is very okay. We are just going to play it out in order to have the most amount of power on board. Our opponent is almost out of cards. Their Sharazin is never coming back unless some of these generate extra cards. One of these might honestly be a Mimic Pod, so that could be good. That'd just be a dead card for them. They could also have another Swashbuckler. This card here now could really decide the game if it's something crazy. Uh-oh, healing? Oh, that's terrifying. They can get their Sharazin one more time. Do they have another backstab or no? I think that we've seen both backstabs, right? Divine Shield, that's okay. Combo. Well, we were talking about a Cold Blood in order to lose, right? Smart moves indeed. That was an awesome, awesome game. Just showing a little bit of the versatility of this mid-range Murloc Paladin deck. Obviously going up against what I think is reasonably... These Miracle Sharazin decks really have some power and staying power in the meta as well. So we're going to continue our climb to Legend. I hope people don't get too bored and upset with a lot of mid-range Murloc Paladin. I will be playing a whole bunch more games, and I do have some ideas for an anti-aggro Jade Golem deck. If you made it this far in the video, might as well hit that big old red subscribe button. I'll see you next time. Keep your stick on the ice.